It was over.
It could not last.
The great leaders of the world had seemed so powerful.
But the structures they built,
The nations,
and alliances,
all were built on
sand.
From overseas, another political killing was reported from still another
assassinations.
one after another.
Becomes the third assassination of cabinet rank in the past month.
Until
We stopped paying attention.
Civil war broke out today in still another South American country.
A spring offensive here,
The surprise attack along the unguarded border of...
A peace offensive to lull our fears.
momentarily.
The lead story again today is hunger. In India, 7,000 more deaths were reported.
Chronic famine in Asia.
Africa.
we tried to ignore it.
Food riots broke out in 4 major cities in the Midwest.
Even when shortages developed in our own bountiful marketplace.
Then, suddenly, it erupted.
I repeat, danger, radiation warning. Do not go outdoors. Stay in your homes. Seal all windows and doors. Do not let anyone in your home from outside. I repeat, danger.
And 3/4 of us did not.
survive it.
Later, it came in disjointed reports and hysterical rumor.
The leaders at first tried to limit it.
Somehow coming to an agreement not to release all of their...
MIRBs and ICBMs at once.
delaying the whole alphabet of Armageddon until they could judge the effect of their few exploded bombs on the...
Target cities. All central authority collapsed.
As if it had never existed.
The power of nations fell into the hands of competing mobs, roaming the countryside.
contending for power.
But there were those who would not join the mobs.
There were those the mob would not have on any terms.
Mutations sprang up in the wombs of pregnant women.
As fallout spread over the globe.
Those surviving birth assumed grotesque shapes.
And there were those whom the radiation corrupted.
Inducing physical and mental disease.
The family managed to hold itself together, surviving the breakdown of society. They occupied a tower, which rose out of the rubble of a prison. Here they hid away from the mobs. The 4 of them,
Woman and 2 children.
spent their days within hearing of those mobs, fearing the day when they would be discovered.
The crickets. It's strange how some things remain the same with all these changes. It's strange, too, how I am used to this empty life. How this bit of straw is comfortable after having been my bed for a time beyond counting. They will find this place. They will gather around this tower screaming for the blood of my children. What do they call them? My own children. Muties. As if they started the war. As if they asked to be deformed and driven into They'll come to the tower, drive us out, and kill us for a day's amusement.
Try to rest, dear.
No, I should...
Now, just lie still. You're very sick. It doesn't help to worry.
Oh, but I should get up to cook.
No, be still. You're sick, Marjorie. Our only hope is that you lie still and let nature heal you. I went searching for the doctor I heard lived at the other end of town, but... well, he wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere. I managed to find the store the mob somehow passed over. Dear, they had a coal cellar dug deep under the foundation. Here, drink some of this wine I found. It's still cold. It might help your cough.
But now save the rest for the children. Simon, please try to keep them well and safe.
No, you'll be getting better.
No, give it to the children. Darling, I'm sorry to be a burden to all of you.
Oh, Marjorie.
No, don't say anything. I don't have long here now. Let me speak.
Dear.
No, let me speak. Do you remember the war had started and ended, and we couldn't believe we were still alive? All of us, you, me, Virginia, the baby inside me. And when Danny was born, I was happier than at any other time in my life, even though the bombs had twisted his body so...
Dear, don't try to talk.
No, let me finish. I know why you keep Danny in the tower. He'd be killed if he went out with you, but I don't see why you keep Virginia locked in her room. She's a mature girl. She can take what's outside the tower. We won't be around forever.
Marjorie, I've explained I don't trust anybody.
No, let me speak. I remember. It's all so very clear. Without realizing it, we had lived through World War III. To be alive itself was such inexpressible joy. It gave you the energy you needed to push on, to stay alive in that joy. I remember.
Where are we going?
Soon. Daddy says we have to be very careful.
Be quiet. If somebody hears us, we're finished.
What's happening, Daddy?
Lower your voice. Oh, my God. There goes the town. The mobs don't know what to do with it, so they blow it up with the first explosives they find.
You were our strength then, as you are now.
Save your strength, dear. Please.
No, let me talk. I can remember almost everything. The time we outran the mobs, crossing the river at a shallow place.
I can't understand why the mobs haven't crossed over yet.
Maybe they've passed this way already. Simon?
Daddy, what is it?
Look. It's a tower on that rise. Maybe a hiding place.
A hiding place. Oh, God, how we searched for a hiding place. And then we hid along the riverbank, waiting to see if anybody or anything still lived in the tower, waiting for you to come back to us.
Daddy's been gone awfully long time.
Keep your voice down.
Mother, look over there.
Stay away. I can handle this.
I couldn't help it. He jumped me as I was passing the doorway. I didn't see him at first. I didn't see.
We didn't know many things then. Virginia looked so healthy despite everything we'd gone through. I still felt like living, like pushing through no matter what.
Oh, Marjorie. What could I do? We needed a place to hide. I thought if we found someplace we could live on without trouble. I didn't see him. I swear to you, I didn't see his wrinkled face until I had killed him. He felt so strong. How could an old man summon up so much strength?
Darling, we've all grown used to death. What else could you have done? We never blamed you.
Oh, I keep imagining the old man's face. I never saw the old man's face, but I kept seeing it afterwards, and I keep seeing it now. Why did he have to jump me? We would have worked something out with him. Darling. Darling! Darling, 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 darling.
He buried her under the rubble, hiding the place so the grave robbers, searching for golden teeth,
or whatever they could find,
would not disturb it.
He locked his mutant son in the tower
and continued to roam their side of the river for food.
None of the moths came across the river.
Rumor filtered through that the family side of the river was inhabited by ghosts of those killed in the war.
The spirits were said to enter the bodies of normal folk, turning them into
mutants.
Death could not keep the family from their hunt for food.
There had been so many deaths.
Father and daughter picked through the rubble for scraps.
Some rotten bits of rat or gopher meat.
A forgotten cache of stale beans or grain.
The son remained locked in the highest room of the tower, for fear that the mobs would see him and tear him limb from limb.
Until the girl, too, began to change.
And the father began to fear that even the refugees on their side of the river would begin to hate her for what she was becoming and flock to their tower, clamoring to tear it down, brick by brick.
It was all so sudden. At first, when my hunger left me, I was glad. Since the war had gnawed away at me constantly, and even while I slept, my dreams were filled with food, making my stomach feel like a washcloth being wrung dry. At first, Father refused to say it. He insisted that I eat and come with him searching for food. But all at once I fattened and fattened, and within a week I weighed twice my pre-war weight. The few people we saw in our foraging began to throw rocks at us as we passed. They hate anyone who's different than they are. Within days I gained 1/3 of my normal weight again, and people gathered wherever we went. Father locked me in a tower room just before it would become impossible for me to walk. There is no food today. It doesn't hurt me, but I worry about Father. And my brother. I fear for him constantly, because he still has hope for me, that one day he will see me normal again. I tell him not to neglect my brother, that his body is twisted by the bomb, and my father shares some of the prejudices of the mob, though he would defend my brother with his life. keep thinking his worst time came when he brought me to the tower for the last time.
It's too hard for you, especially after all this time.
Be quiet. Just thank God nobody's seen us yet. If they do, they'll kill us, sure.
He brought me to this room, and soon I grew so big there was no way to leave even if I had wanted to. It became obvious to me what was wrong. The bombs had done their work on me, too. My body had lost the ability to process food, to burn calories, and everything my father forced me to eat went directly to fat. But as my disease progressed, I discovered new powers in my mind. Father, listen. I can see the future. For weeks now, I've seen places in my dreams where there's food. I've even seen a place where a car is hidden. I've seen you approach the place and miss it by a few feet.
I will not hear this. I won't be driven mad.
The car will be easy for you to find. And when you see that it still works...
It works? It works. You know, I found a road yesterday. I don't know where it goes, but it looked good. As if we could drive for hours. Hours away from here.
It's not possible. It sounds good, but it won't happen. Daddy, please listen. Listen!
I was near the end of my life. My body had grown so large that the new accumulations of flesh were numb, as if nerves refused to grow through them. The body was beginning to lose contact with itself. My flesh presses up against the cold stone walls, making it almost impossible for me to breathe. Perhaps I'm too monstrous to take seriously. Perhaps that's the reason Father would not listen when I tried to tell him a gang of refugees would attack him just after he discovered the car. But the prospect of escape excited him. He wouldn't listen. There was no way to reach him. I am afraid for him. I don't think about myself. I do not see whether my father would survive the attack. I could not see that far ahead. There was only the waiting and the hope that I would see my father alive again.
I was lucky. That could have been the end for me. Virginia was right. Now we can use her gift to keep us alive. The car was there, just as she saw it. It must have been an underground garage. Oh, God, it was beautiful. I'd almost forgotten what a car looked like. That's when they jumped me. They must have been weak with hunger the way they fought. Virginia was right. I was a fool not to listen. It'll be different now. We'll use this power in the future. We'll be a step ahead of everybody. I just managed to pull away from her. The fool started smashing the car with rocks, as if it were the cause of all their troubles. Virginia, you were right. The car was there, but They jumped me.
Oh, thank God you're still alive. Yes, I know. Daddy, take care of Danny. He has a chance to make it through the world.
I hope you're right. But, well, we can take care of you too. You're different. Danny can't change, but if somewhere we find a doctor. Virginia, you have a disease. There's a chance that we can cure it. More people are beginning to cross over the river. For some reason, the mob's still not coming. Maybe a doctor will reveal himself. And maybe we can start putting the world back together.
He stayed in the cell block with her all night, talking and laying out his hopes for the future.
Sometime before dawn, Virginia died.
Unable to move her massive body from the room, he boarded it up and went roaming over the countryside for days, trying to forget.
Finding textbooks and reading materials in a ruined school, he came home to his tower, resolved to give his remaining child the best education he could provide.
Years passed. 2 years of hard struggle.
Simon had to travel farther every day to gather sufficient food to feed the two of them.
But even though it was hard,
As time went on, a new order seemed to be taking form. There was a sense that the will was gathering among the people to make a fresh start, and Simon took hope in this, thinking that one day he could reveal Danny as his own.
until the day illness struck him down.
Danny nursed him constantly,
but he slowly weakened.
The night before, I fell asleep before my father. In the morning, I loafed at the top of the tower, not realizing that he had left, still in his illness, to hunt for food, not wanting me to show myself. Standing on the parapet, suddenly I could hear him moaning near the tower. I ran down to him, but it took me almost an hour to drag him back to his bed. Why did you go out? There's blood all over your head.
I kept them away. They never found this place. They never found...
What are you saying? Who never found the tower?
There was no food. I went out to our cache. They followed. They waited for me to open it, and then they jumped me, but they couldn't beat me down completely. I gave it to them.
His injuries on top of his illness were hard for me to take. My mother and sister had died, and I grieved. My father was all I had left, and it looked like his time was up.
What will you do? What will you do when I die?
Don't say things like that. You're not hurt bad, Father. You'll be all right.
I'm sorry, but I've got to speak the truth now. About myself. And about you.
His eyes grew large as he looked at me, and that familiar look of pain came into them as he looked at the growths on my back. He was so huge, and I am so small. I was almost 18, and I was no taller than the 5-year-olds I could see from the top of the tower playing in the rubble.
There are more like you to the south of the town, in the foothills, and all the way up into the mountains. You'll have to be very careful. The people on this side of the river hunt them with dogs and traps. They say if they can keep the muties out, they keep the mobs out. Oh, Danny. Danny, promise me.
What, Father? What? Anything?
Some of them say the muties in the mountains are strong. They can run faster than any human. Some of them. And some can dig deep burrows in the earth. Some say, and I believe them, that a lot of them can fly.
Daddy, what do you want me to do?
Danny, when I die, leave this place. Take off for the mountains. You can live free there. They don't catch you first.
Don't say that. Don't. I won't have to do anything like that. For the first time since he fell ill, I managed to help him get a good night's sleep. In the morning, I went up to my lookout on top of the tower and looked over the ruined landscape. The streets are plowed lines of decaying shards and brick. The tower is the tallest thing in sight. There are no trees. The landscape looks as empty as my future seems. I remember a time soon after we occupied the tower. I ran outside to have a look around, and my father quickly dragged me back inside. They'll kill you if they see you, and they'll kill us, he shouted at me. I asked him why over and over, but the only thing he said was, "You're different, don't you realize that?" Daddy, Daddy, let me go looking for the doctor.
No. They kill the muties, Danny. They kill the muties.
I went up to the top of the tower and watched the sunset. I've got to think. If I could get to the doctor. He's supposed to be only a few miles away from here, then what? Then both of us would be saved. The doctor would open his black bag and hand us both some pills. A pink one to cure my father's illness, and a white one to dissolve my mutation away, these things on my back. But there was nothing else for us. I was naive enough to think a doctor could save him. Horrible little animals. I thought no one was following me, but less than a mile from the tower, I suddenly saw them behind me. The mountains. I had to get east to the mountains. Get away from me! Get away! 5 of them. How can I get away? How can I? Blood started flowing from a cut on my cheek, and it frightened them. It's impossible for me to get through to the mountains now. I must get back to the tower. I must get back. They've surrounded the tower. The men's torches light up the countryside. When I got home, barely in time, Father was already dead. And there was barely time to get to the top of the tower before they began to ram the door down. I know what to do. It's the only answer. I've avoided it all my life, but I'm forced to go through with it now. They're coming up the stairs. Nothing will stop them now. I stand on the edge of the tallest point of the tower. I climb over the rail and stand erect on the brink of the roof. From this height, the crowd seems small and squat. I weave, poised for the leap into space. They draw back, waiting for my body to plunge among them. Moments before they could grab me, before the roof of the tower, long hour sanctuary would become a trap for me. My sight flickers, tears fly over my face, clouds scudding across the sky. I fall, I am weightless. I can fly.